Okay, welcome everybody. We're here for the, oh, and then I'm not even ready because I don't have my right minutes here. We're here for the Monday, December 15th, 2025, Foothills Regional Services Commission Landfill Operations meeting. I will call this meeting to order at 9:31. I'm going to look for any additions to the agenda. Do we have any? I see none. So I will look to adopt the agenda. This would be the yes, that would be today's agenda. Looking for a motion to adopt this agenda.
I'll give you the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Estes. Is that right? Estes?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay. Any discussion on that? I see none. Any opposed? That's carried unanimously. Now I'm going to look for the acceptance of the FRSC organizational minutes from previous meeting. The organizational minutes of the meeting held on Monday, November 24th, 2025 be accepted as presented. I'll look for that motion. Councillor Martin?
Yes.
Any discussion on that? I see none. Any opposed? That's carried unanimously. And we'll go to the acceptance of the FRSC minutes from previous meeting, the minutes of the meeting held on Monday, November 24th, 2025. Anybody like to make that motion? Oh, Councillor Mitchell, any discussion on that? I see none. Any opposed? That's carried unanimously. And so we're going to come down here to accounts payable. Everybody should have had this in the package. The accounts payable dated December 15th, 2025 in the amount of $975,774.52. Was there any discussion on this one? Is there a presentation at all? No? Still new to this? Okay, perfect. Can I get that motion that the accounts payable dated December 15th, 2025 in the amount of $975,774.52 be accepted for payment? Councillor Nychuk? I said that correctly, Nychuk? Yeah, perfect. Any discussion on that? I see none. Anybody opposed? That's carried unanimously. On to tonnage reports. Is there any discussion on the tonnage reports? Gosh, this meeting is going quick. We're all excited to get into budget. Oh, Councillor Martin.
Has there been an increase in the amount of tonnage this year?
Yeah, we did have a good year for soils. So last year we didn't have much for impacted soils coming in to the site. So that is a big spike in tonnage this year, as well as the hydrovac waste was like way higher than anticipated this year with the High River fiber optic upgrading. So yes, there's been a noticeable spike, but both in good waste tonnage, which is the cover materials, and the hydrovac, which the hydrovac waste doesn't even go in the landfill. So that's all kind of positive tonnage.
Okay, I just wanted clarification on that. Like it wasn't the tonnage going into the landfill.
No, that's remained very steady. We're in that like 30 to 40,000 tons a year that get landfilled typically, I believe. I'd have to go back and double check that, but that's kind of the typical range on a year. Yeah, so we're at 35,000 to date, so that's right in that range for landfill waste.
So is that even is that like on par even with the increase in population, or is it just because of better with the three stream waste system that we have, that a lot of it is not going into the landfill?
Yeah, so kind of the trend that I've seen with it when each of the towns go to the multiple carts and kind of different diversion streams is that We do see a little bit of a drop in the kind of per capita tonnage from those regions, but it's usually offset because the region is growing so fast that our overall tonnage to the landfill kind of remains pretty similar because of all the growth. But yeah, that's kind of seems to be the trend. But we've held pretty steady for probably 5 or 6 years now in that range of tonnage that's being landfilled, despite pretty big growth in the region.
That's good news. Thank you, Joe.
I just have a quick question. You mentioned soil. Is that just like for compost?
So when I talk about impacted soils, it's typically from like oil and gas sites and stuff like that. So it's got hydrocarbons and usually some chlorides and maybe some metals in it and stuff like that. But
Okay, so it's basically somewhat contaminated soils then.
yeah, and most of these jobs are very lightly contaminated. You know, some slight spills and stuff from operations on the sites and stuff like that. But it's something we can utilize for daily cover, so we're not having to use clean soil in the landfill for daily cover. To cover the waste. So it's kind of a nice thing. It also saves us big time because when these trucks haul in that soil, we can have them dump right at our working face, so we can use the material right away instead of us having to use our excavators and rock trucks and stuff like that to haul material across the site. So it's kind of a double win for the landfill when we get that material.
And that increased a little this year then?
Yes, we had a very good year for that. Big job out of Ghost Lake area for Shell. That was like 40,000 ton or something. That was quite a bit.
Okay. And you said Ghost Lake?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I see none. So looking for a motion, the suggested one is the tonnage reports for the month of November 2025 be accepted as presented. Anybody? Oh, Councillor Martin, any discussion on that? Any opposed? I see none. That's carried unanimously. So we're going to go into business. Manager Angevine? Is that right? Angevine? Yeah, okay. One of those two, Angevine or Angevine?
Angevine, usually, yeah.
Angevine. Okay, perfect. We'll go with that one. So over to you.
Okay, yeah, not too much to go over. We just met a couple weeks ago and the weather's been pretty miserable out here, so the site has definitely slowed down. I will share with you some images here. Oh, can I be allowed to share screen here, please? That's Sherry that can do that. Won't let me share. Okay, well, never mind. So, yeah, so anyways, just more work going on the building has been the main project that's moving ahead here on site, the new shop. I had some nice pictures, drone pictures and stuff like that that these guys take and they send in their weekly reports for us summarizing their work. But yeah, if you come by the site, you'll see basically all the roof trusses and stuff like that have been installed now. The exterior shell is taking shape. They've installed the firewall between the two halves of the building, as well as a bunch of the exterior paneling and stuff like that, the gypsum panels and stuff like that on the exterior shell of the building. So yeah, lots of progress with that structure taking place. They're hoping to have basically the exterior shell done by Christmas time here. So, oh, that's okay. Thank you. All good. Can everybody see that? Yeah, so that just gives you an idea. And actually, they've made progress even since these pictures. These were sent to me on Friday, and I came in this morning, and they've even done a bunch more exterior paneling and stuff like that being put up. So yeah, lots of progress in the building. It's starting to take shape. It's pretty slick the way they get these pictures with the drones and stuff too, so you can kind of get a bird's eye view of the building and how it's taking shape. But staff are pretty excited next year to be in this new building, and yeah, should make operations out here much nicer for our staff, especially their lunchroom and change rooms and stuff like that are pretty awful in the old shop. So this will be a big morale boost for the staff out here on site, which has also been kind of amazing. We're going to have the exact, our seasonals are about to have their layoff here, and all three of them that we typically often have to replace year over year, they're all coming back. So this will be our third year in a row with 0 turnover on our staff, which is pretty awesome. It's the best run I've had out here with our staff. Consistency, and just, yeah, got a great team out here that are, they all seem to enjoy working together and working with each other. So, yeah, got a pretty good thing going at the moment. Be interesting to see some budget. There's some potential. I think Reg might get into this in our budget discussions of T&T. One of our biggest haulers has done kind of a merger in the last few months here, and are making some kind of veiled threats about hauling waste into Calgary and all these different things. But so far, they haven't actually really done it. I've been checking on their tonnage, and it's pretty consistent from what they did last year, despite the threats of they're claiming they can get bulk discounts and stuff if they go into the Calgary landfills. But then their drivers keep complaining that they can't do their routes if they have to drive into Calgary. They can't finish their routes, and they're stuck in lineups in Calgary, and there's wear and tear on the trucks and all these different things. So it's going to be an interesting new year. We're going to have to monitor that pretty closely, keep an eye on that tonnage. But so far, it seems like it's mostly just been kind of bluffing on their part. But yeah, that'll be an interesting thing to monitor next year. But operations-wise, yeah, pretty straightforward. Just keeping the site moving, all the snow removal and stuff like that, and the cold with the heavy equipment. Some of our older pieces of equipment have been having some failures, some kind of unplanned, pretty major repairs. I've replaced a file drive on the dozer here the last couple weeks. So yeah, some of that stuff going on with some of our older pieces of equipment that we're going to be replacing over the next few years here. So hopefully those problems will ease up as we get some newer equipment on site. But that's pretty much it for my operations update. Any questions? Oh, the hydrovac has pretty much died down now, so that was still holding steady through November. With strong revenue, we should be close to $1 million on the year for by the end of the year for hydrovac revenue, which is basically what the pad cost to build in the first place. So that's nice to get that money back pretty quick. But yeah, that project has basically died down now, and they're saying probably until next year is probably going to be pretty quiet. So our hydrovac revenue is probably pretty much done for the year, without the odd, except for the odd truck coming in here or there. But yeah, basically things quieting down. We'll be laying off, and then we kind of hunker down for January, February is really quiet out here. So it should be, but yeah, good year all in all for the landfill.
Okay,
Sorry.
can people hear me? Because my camera just is not working now for some reason.
Yeah,
I
we
can
hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I might be without video here for a little bit. Go ahead, Councillor Martin.
No, it's Counselor S.
Oh. Yes, I had a question. Okay. Just the T&T merger. Could the hauling to Calgary be due to the merger being a company from Calgary?
So the merger was with, I forget the name, Cutting Edge or something like that. Yeah, typically the company they merged with are mostly long haul trucks. So like walking floors and stuff like that, and like end dumps. So yeah, that's part of it too, is they're claiming they can kind of reload the waste into their larger trucks and then haul it into Calgary. But again, most of the drivers are saying they're just hauling each individual load into Calgary, which doesn't make a ton of sense to me. But
No. Okay.
yeah. I don't know, Jason, your experience with Calgary, do they have this kind of a corporate or commercial threshold that they're offering these reduced rates if commercial haulers bring in, do you recall that? I've never heard of it, but this was news to me.
It is something that's reflected in the bylaw that exists for the waste bylaw for the city of Calgary. And yes, at certain levels of disposal, certain number of tons, they do get a lower discount. I know the city also works with the larger haulers on individual rates. I would have to dig a little further on this one. I think it's Complete Environmental is the name of this new bigger company that they're operating under now.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was kind of a new thing the city put in probably maybe a few years back, I think, Jason, but to try and kind of bring back some of the commercial waste that was being hauled out of the city to smaller rural landfills around the province, but that was my understanding of it.
That's correct.
CAO Cameron, did you want to weigh in here?
Yeah, I just wondering, well, the county contract with TNT, and I don't know about the town's contracts with TNT, but we should have a look at whether it's acceptable for them to be hauling into the city for waste that comes from Diamond Valley and Foothills and Okotoks.
Yes.
Yeah, and we have that language in the Foothills County contracts that they have to haul in. They weren't doing it, so we had to get after them to start bringing that back in. There was a couple of months that they did not bring those loads into our landfill, so it is something we have to kind of watch with them moving forward.
Okay.
But they seem to,
And I
like,
feel,
when the merger first happened, they seemed to kind of like, we weren't seeing trucks for like a couple of weeks coming in that we usually would see. And then we kind of got after them for some of the county routes. And then all of a sudden the trucks have all been coming back again. So it's like maybe they dabbled in this and found out it wasn't worth their while. I'm not sure, but it's just going to be an interesting next year here with this merger.
Will you just monitor it for the next maybe 6 months, Joe, and then report back to us?
Yeah, I'll be keeping a pretty close eye on this to see if it does impact our tonnage, but I was looking back through last year, and it was pretty much the same, almost exactly the same as they had hauled in last year to this year. So this year didn't seem to make a big difference, but they're kind of huffing and puffing that they're gonna do some stuff here. So we'll see how it goes.
So as Mr. Reva Cabron has said, would there be a letter going to the councils if they do start hauling into the city?
I suppose we could, if the board wants to take that route, we could draft up a letter and just kind of, ask the towns to make sure that their waste is being hauled to the appropriate spot and put some language in future contracts and those types of things.
Okay, because I know that we're looking at a new contract coming up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Nanton is with TNT as well. So I guess all of us are somehow utilizing TNT. So we certainly can have a conversation with them.
Yeah, we should probably all look at our contracts and see what the wording is.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
And it's called Complete Waste?
Yes, I believe that's what the new merger is called. Every time they send an invoice, it's under a different name now. It's very strange.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Any more questions for Manager Angevine? No. Do we need a motion coming out of that one? Or do we accept that as, sorry.
Yeah, just accept that as information, please.
Perfect. Okay, would somebody like to make the motion that the operations update be accepted as presented?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Estes. Any discussion? Any opposed? Carried unanimously. On to 2026 landfill operations draft budget. And I have a quick question before we begin this, because I noticed there's like two. Is that because we're given two options, or are they two different? Okay. I see nodding.
Morning, and if I may, I'm just going to share my screen here. But you're right, there are two budgets there just to give you options. But just going to share my screen here. Can everyone see my screen? Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So the budgets, you have two options there. One is to show you what a $2 increase in the member municipalities rate will look like, and in short, there's about a 21 or 20,000 difference in total revenue from it's just staying flat as what it is today, which is $72. And if you increase by $2, you're looking at what? At $74, you're looking at 20,000 difference in total revenue. So I'm just going to go through the 2026 proposed budget here. Tipping fees, if we go with the no increase, we're looking at about $5 million. Hydrovac revenue, like Mr. Angevine said, this year we're going to see close to $1 million, if not more. However, that's not going to continue. It's not that particular revenue line will not be at that rate going forward. I think the more realistic number is somewhere around the 250, 300,000 mark. Interest revenue has decreased a lot because we're seeing lower bond rates now going forward. So interest revenue will not be as high as what it has been in the past years. Composting is about the same, and other revenue has gone up, mainly due to revenues from the electronics and paint, waste and scrap, metal scraps and batteries. So overall, we're looking at about 6.4 million in total revenue. And this is with a minimum load fee rate of $12 per load. When we come to expenses, wages and benefits have increased about 56,000. That's due to cost of living increases and performance adjustments with staff there. Amortization has increased by 126,000. It is a policy to budget current year's amounts based on prior year's actual. So that amortization amount there is based on 2024's actual. And also work contracted has increased by about 10,000 to factor in tracking costs for dry walls. And administration fee has increased by about 11,000 to better reflect costs associated with the CAO and other supporting staff in finance as well as legislative services. Debenture interest has increased by about 75,000, and that's due to the interest that the landfill is going to pay itself on the amount borrowed for the new shop. So the new shop is being funded by reserves that the landfill has, and the agreement was that the landfill was going to pay 3% for the next 5 years after construction is completed to pay for this cost. And in terms of capital cost, we are looking at about 2.5 million, and I can go through the capital purchases. Just for 2026, we're coming to the end of the CAP construction, and I think we left with about 50,000 more to spend to come to the end of that project. And also, we are looking at a fire remediation of about 50,000 this year. Road maintenance and repairs of about 150,000. And then when we come to the equipment, we are looking at a 40-yard bin or 40-yard bins for 18,000, and a water truck. So the water truck was budgeted to be purchased this year. However, we didn't get to it, and so it's going to be purchased next year. And then the biggest expenditure here is the compactor, which is about 1.9 million. And so with that, and what I did was to have just a general rule of taking $300,000 from each year's surplus to help fund the capital purchases. So what you're going to see here is out of the 2.5 million, I'm looking at taking $300,000 from this year's surplus, as well as taking 1.5 million from the capital reserve to fund the capital expenditures. And then we are putting $250,000 into the closure reserve. The closure reserve is, I can go through the reserves here with you. So Currently, we're sitting about a 13.7 million at the end of 2024. That's after the 2024's audit. We're sitting at about 13.7 million in the closure reserve. Now, the idea or the plan is to put about $250,000 from each year's surplus back into the closure reserve and to build it to about 20 million within the next few years. Currently, we're sitting about 3.6 million in the equipment reserve, and the plan is to, from this year's surplus, which we are looking at least $1 million, putting in 500,000 from this year's surplus back into the equipment reserve to help fund equipment purchases over the next few years. And in 2026, like I showed you, we are taking 1.5 million to help fund the 2.5 million equipment purchases that we have proposed. And so that's the budget with no increase. And with the $2 increase, we again, like I said, we are looking at about just shy of 21,000 difference in total revenue. Everything else stays the same. The capital purchase is still the same. However, we're funding, we're taking less from the capital reserve just because of that $2 increase. So overall, capital purchases are pretty much the same thing. Overall, it's up to the board to decide on which budget they feel more comfortable with. And so with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
Thank you, Director Hammond. Is that correct, Hammond?
Hammond, yeah.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Thank you for that. And just for some clarification, is it always, because this is the first year I've done this, and I think this is some of my colleagues might be the first year they've done it as well. Do you always get two options for your budget, or is that how you guys usually present it?
Well, I think in the past, in the past, we haven't really presented two budgets, but I know the question. I know Director Martin asked the question in one of our last few meetings, or brought the idea of not increasing or maybe increasing the rate. So I just wanted to give you, just wanted to show you what that would look like if we were to increase it by $2 or not increase it.
Okay, and thank you for that. And then just one more question from me before we get into questions. Is there any risk associated to this commission if we did a 0% increase?
Thanks. If I know the plan, there has been a report in the past, and perhaps the CAO or Manager Angevine can elaborate more on that. But I know there has been a report in the past that shows that we should be somewhere around the $95 mark rate right now. We're sitting at 72, so we are way below that rate at the moment. And I think the rate is to make sure that we have enough money in our reserves for cell closures and as well as equipment purchases as well. So there could be some potential risk, although it's not that profound right now.
Okay, so like the $2 increase is just like a kind of a phased-in approach to try and getting us caught up. Is that how I'm understanding it? Oh, okay. Okay, whoever's controlling this, can I get them to go to take this off of, like the budget off of the screen for a second, just so I can see everybody's hands? Oh yeah, that's better. Okay, and so questions are in order. So I will start with, I saw Councillor Martin's hand up. So go ahead, Councillor Martin.
Director Hammond, I'm looking at your numbers here on the landfill maintenance. Why are you looking at a 34% increase in cost in the maintenance for the landfill? Over 2025.
Now, is and that's due to the increase in the maintenance for the GPS system. And I guess perhaps Manager Angevine can shed some light on that GPS system maintenance. I think we've had that for a while now, but we've never truly budgeted for that, if I'm right.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, the equipment repairs that I'm looking at, both are staying the same from 2025 to 2026. It stays at 340. I'm not sure what we're referring
No,
to.
I
The
think,
maintenance dash landfill.
yeah, I think,
Oh, yes, sorry. So, yes, so we basically had funded the GPS system that we had purchased for the landfill compactor, but it was like a capital purchase. It wasn't like a service or a maintenance, what do I call that? Maintenance contract with the guys. So now that we've paid off the system through a capital purchase, the ongoing maintenance of the system switches over to this like an annual maintenance package that we have to sign up for. So it's just shifting from the money that we had spent in the past through capital purchases into like a ongoing
Into the operations.
yeah, like an operations budget. So moving forward on that too, I do have something in the works with the county that they want to install a base station here at the site. So the first year you'll see a bump in that cost, but then likely next year, if we install that base station, which it looks like is going to happen, that'll like cut that cost in half. So
Okay.
it's all the cellular data because we don't have good internet out here. We have to go off cellular and it's quite expensive, but you know, in my opinion, to help the compactor get better compaction of landfill is well worth it.
Okay. And then I had a question on your bank charges. Now, is that because of the debenture for the shop?
through the chair, no, no, that's not. Bank charges have gone up quite significantly, and we have when we have people using credit cards, their charges that depending on the type of credit card, some can be up as high up as 4% and maybe even more. So we're seeing significant bank charges across, you know, across board, and that's why we've increased that budget line.
Okay. Can you remind me, what are other expenses?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like it maintains a level of $10,000 a year, but what is that?
I think those are so there's a bottle, water expense, and vet supplies, and
okay.
that's where we purchase those dog treats.
Oh, okay. Totally makes sense there. And lastly, the composting expenses are going down. Is that because you're getting away from composting because there is a company that does look after composting in the area?
I think no, that's just based on past trend in terms of actuals, what we've seen. I think in the past we've had that expense line at 6,000 and maybe 5,000 the year before, but we are seeing that we're not spending as much on that line. That's why I reduced the budget.
Okay, on the processing and stuff. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Martin. Next we have CAO Cameron.
Yes, so I would just mention that, you know, the commission provides this service to the municipalities as well as commercial haulers, and the commission is not able to share any of its revenue with the member municipalities. And so when you look at the tipping fees, which are charged to the municipalities, those fees have an effect on, in the end, the utility bills of the residents within the municipalities. So, you know, is there any threat to the commission by holding the rate at $72. It appears from the budget that has been presented by Director Hammond that we're still maintaining putting money away in reserves, both equipment reserve and for closing cost reserve. Manager Angenvine can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think as far as closing costs, we're one of the best funded landfills in the province, if not the best funded foreclosure. So is there a threat? I think that's something the board has to decide on, that, you know, is the risk that somewhere in the future rates will have to be bumped up quite a bit to deal with the problem that we may have out at the landfill. And as you can see from the budget, the tipping fees, changing them by $2 does not have a massive impact on the revenue to the landfill.
Thank you, CAO Cameron. Manager Angevine, sorry.
Yeah, just kind of to support Harry's comments there. When we did the life cycle analysis with Tetra Tech, they estimated that we needed to have about $12 million in post-closure reserves to fund the long-term closure and then post-closure monitoring of the landfill, managing leachate, all those types of things. We're almost up to 14 million now in that reserve, so we're in a very strong position. As long as we can maintain that and keep up with inflation stuff, we basically already have enough in that reserve. But you know, better safe than sorry, in my opinion. Keep adding to it, keep building that. But yes, we are in a very strong position. A lot of other landfills I've spoken to at conferences and stuff like that don't have near the reserves that we have in place, so we're in a pretty good position here.
Nice, thank you for that. And I'll go to Councillor Nyjek.
Sorry, Joe just kind of answered my question. It was specific to the site closure reserves and where that number was pegged to be, because I thought from recollection that what we have there is about what we needed or what the consultant suggested. So just being on track there with where we are. So thanks for that. You read my mind and answered my question before you even knew it. Appreciate it.
I have a question. Just going back to the TNT merger, if they all of a sudden start hauling that to Calgary, how much effect will that have on our income revenue?
I looked at this the other day and I can't remember now, but you know, they don't. I want to say it's in the range of $1 million is like what they bring in over the year, that one hauler. But I'd have to confirm that. I don't feel comfortable giving that number as a solid number, but you know, but that's assuming they take every bit of waste away from the site, which I think is unlikely, especially some of the smaller loads they haul in. Don't really make sense to haul into Calgary. It really only makes sense on the large front-loaded compactor trucks and stuff like that that get you know, significant weight on those trucks. So the smaller loads I wouldn't expect to see. So you know, it might be a hit of like, if they follow through on those threats, it might be a hit of like $500,000 or something like that of revenue.
Sorry.
Oh, go on.
Are there other haulers that are now hauling to Calgary that are working in our areas?
This is the first time I've had anyone actually confront me about it, so I'm not sure. I'm not aware of any other ones. When I looked back at the history of kind of the largest commercial haulers, they were all pretty consistent from year to year over the last couple of years. So I don't think anyone else is doing this, of our major customers at least.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Do we have any more questions?
And I will confirm those numbers and send out an email after the meeting here to confirm the potential impact if they do stop hauling to the site.
I guess my thoughts are, right now, do we go with the $2 increase, even though I don't know how how much of an effect it'll be in case we start to lose that revenue. I don't know. It's just a thought.
Director London, would you like to weigh in? You're muted.
Yeah, definitely not a director, I don't think, but I appreciate the title that I've been given on the Zoom call. That's great. I think, yeah, I think first of all, Manager Angevine deserves congratulations. I think his team has done a great job of managing things out at the landfill and keeping costs in line. I would agree with the CAO Cameron that I don't think the $2 makes much of an impact on the bottom line for landfill operations. And as well, I know we see a lot of pressure from our residents on how our reserves are being managed. And it sounds like the reserve for landfill closure is very healthy. And I think we've got some flexibility there if we need to slow those contributions. I would say, I'm just from the town's perspective, I mean, I would promote a zero increase. I think this commission operates to the benefit of the municipalities, and that's the primary focus. So I'll just leave my input there, and I appreciate being given the chance to talk here.
Thank you, Mr. London, and I'll go to Manager Angevine. I'll get it right at some point.
That's okay. I'm used to it. And just to add to that as well, when we did that Tetra Tech life cycle analysis, that was kind of the goal and kind of the key finding of that study was that this now, because we had such strong reserves and we kind of confirmed that, we always kind of had that suspicion that we probably had enough. But because we were able to kind of confirm that through that study, it gave the board some flexibility to hold the rates, which we've done. We used to have an annual increase of like $1 to $2 a ton, just kind of steady. And now we basically have, I think we've increased our rates twice in the last like 5 or 6 years. So we also found that our rates at the time were a little higher than they probably needed to be as far as full cost recovery. And that also allowed to, gave justification for holding the rates to kind of give the towns and the commercial haulers a bit of a break. Now we're kind of, it's catching up, but I think there's still a bit of a gap between there. So yeah, that was kind of the nice thing about that study was it kind of gave the board some flexibility here and some confidence that we can kind of, give the haulers and the towns a little bit of a break. But I would say that study was done before we had all this crazy inflation the last couple of years. So certainly the cost of everything on heavy equipment is just skyrocketed, like probably 20-30% on any type of maintenance and repairs is just madness. So we do need to start being a little careful that we, that we can keep up with those types of things. But yeah, I think either option this year is probably fine. And if we held the rate at zero, that'd be kind of a goodwill towards TNT maybe as well to kind of, we're not going to give you this big discount for a threshold, but you know what, we're going to hold the rates again. And that would probably show some good faith on our end.
Okay.
Thank you for that. I just have a question regarding what you just said about the municipal I was going to ask you about we're seeing like a fire truck increasing value like so much, and I saw the another municipal assets, like if we put them out too far, they cost a little bit more. And the water truck, you guys didn't buy one in 2025, but it's been moved to the 2026 budget. Do you guys anticipate that's going to be more than $375,000 because of inflation?
I'm confident we can find a good option. What really we're doing there is because of the phytoremediation project, we're kind of punting that purchase to see if we get approval for the phytoremediation. If we get approval for the phytoremediation, we're probably not going to buy that truck. So because so much of our water would then be managed on site through the willow plantation, we wouldn't need that water truck. But that was kind of with the new cells, expanded leachate collection in the landfills and stuff like that, plus the heavy rains we've had the last 2 years, we kind of need a third truck to keep up when it's heavy. But then that phytoremediation project kind of basically provides a better alternative. So that's why we're carrying it forward, but I'm actually hoping to never have to purchase that truck, if I'm being honest.
Thank you for that. I have to say, this is like the best budget meeting I've ever been to. It's all full of good news stories. I love this. So any more questions? Should we, sorry, we'll go to Councillor Martin.
Just so that I'm clear, if we were to go with the $2 increase, would our tipping fees go from $72 to $74?
That's right.
That's correct.
Okay, for each of the municipalities?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so at this point, I think we will make or is there any more questions? I should check one more time. I see none. Do I get this right? We should make one of two motions present in the package. Is that right? Should I look to my colleagues to make a motion to either make the motion with the landfill operations draft budget with a $2 increase or be approved, or no increase be approved? So I'm looking for one of those two motions, or another one if you've got it. Oh, sorry, I'm going to go to Director of Corporate Services, Hammond.
I may. There's one other, and I hope it's another good news. We'll see how it goes. But there's one other option, or one other scenario, or one of the factors that I wanted to add to the budget. Manager Angevine has brought to my attention the potential of seeing a new source of revenue, which is from leaf and yard waste. He's proposing, or we did have a discussion, and he's proposing a $12, similar to what our load rates are right now, $12. In 2024, we saw 4,000 loads of leaf and green loads. Now, at the rate of $12, we're looking at a potential new source of revenue of about 50,000. So we are proposing that as a new source of revenue. And with that, the other thing is the Salvage Center has also discussed the potential of having a part-time or that's a seasonal employee that's going to be funded partially by the Salvage Center and 50% by the landfill. We've had this position in the past. We've not had it, and Manager Angevine can correct me if I'm wrong, but we've not had it for the past 2 years, maybe. But it looks like it's a position that is much needed now. And we're looking at our portion of about 40,000. So with this new revenue, that 40,000 expense there is pretty much a wash. And we're still looking at a net revenue of potential about $10,000. So if that's okay, I would like to have that motion either go forward with the approval of the budget, and then I can include that after the motion has been approved.
Okay, I need some direction here from procedure. Like, we didn't have any of this written in our package though, did we?
No, it's not included in your package. It was something that I brought up for discussion.
I would suggest that the board go forward with the budget as you've seen, either one, the one with $2 increase or the one without, and we can bring back an amendment to the budget at the next meeting.
Oh, sorry to cut you off there, CAO Cameron, but I strongly agree with that. I think that would be no.
Yeah, I think
what does anybody? Oh, go ahead. Finish.
Easier to handle it that way when you have something proposed in front of you.
Yes, thank you for that. Unless somebody does want to make that motion, but I would like to see it written down first, like to kind of have a better understanding so I can read it. And I'm not opposed to budget amendments in the new year. So thank you, Director of Corporate Services Hammond. And would anybody like to make one of the two motions? Oh, I'm going to go to Director Mitchell.
Yeah, I'll give you the motion to accept the budget presented with zero increase to the tippage.
Thank you so much, Councillor Mitchell. Would you like to speak to your motion?
Yeah, I think the case has been made multiple times. It was also made that if our contracts are coming up, we can stipulate in our contracts that the whatever's hauled from our municipality is taken to the Foothills landfill. So I think it's a moot point as far as T&T or anybody that making the veiled threat of going to Calgary. Joe said it. They've done it before. They'll go for a little bit and realize it's not as green on the other side. So I do like the fact that it's a show of good faith if we do not increase the tippage fee this year as far as the bigger haulers and the municipalities for all intents and purposes.
Okay.
Thank you, Councillor Mitchell. Anybody would like to speak in favor or against this motion? I see none. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna go to Councillor Nychuk. Sorry, I didn't see you there.
Thanks. Yeah, just speaking in favor of the motion. I think the realization of the gain of an increase isn't really doing anything in terms of significantly impacting the budget. We do operate this commission in terms of our municipalities individually, and lots of us are going through that budget process right now. So taking out another level of complexity on an increase, I think going back to my council would be appreciated, that we're going to keep things as status quo for right now. I think the important pieces, as Director Mitchell mentioned, was ensuring that our waste is being brought to Foothills from each of our municipalities, and we ensure that we support that organization that we're all part of. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nychuk. Anybody else would like to speak in favor or against?
I can only say that I'm in favor of no increase as well.
No? Okay, thank you, Councillor Estes. All right, so I will go to, if no more discussion, I will go to Councillor Mitchell to close. Anything to close? No? Okay. So we'll do this one by show of hands. All those in favor of adopting the 2026, or approving the 2026 landfill operations draft budget with no increase. All in favor? And that carries unanimously. And then coming out of that, I just wanted to ask CAO Cameron, at this moment, do we need a motion to direct administration to bring us that amendment that Director Hammond was looking for the new year, or give it a time, or you guys will just bring that?
No, we'll just bring it forward. There's no need. I think, yes, it'll come forward at the next meeting.
Oh, okay, perfect. That's excellent. Okay, so we'll move on to E, roundtable discussion. Is there anybody that would like to chat more about something we haven't talked about yet? I see none. All right, so we'll move on to the next meeting is scheduled on January 26, 2026 at 9:30 a.m. via Zoom virtual meeting. So I will look for adjournment at 10:25 today. Anybody want to? Oh, okay, I'm going to take that from Councillor Mitchell. All those in favor? Just testing. Yeah, perfect. Carried unanimously. Thank you, everybody.
Merry Christmas, folks.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
One.
Welcome to the Foothills Regional Services Commission wastewater operations meeting for December 15th, 2025. I'll call the meeting to order at 10:30 a.m. And looking to the first point of business in the agenda, and that's any additions. Looking for any additions anybody has to the agenda. And seeing none, thank you. We'll move on to adoption of the agenda. If I can have somebody make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented for us today.
I'll do that.
Thank you, Director Estes. Makes that motion. All in favor? Seeing no opposition, we'll pass that. Thank you. Looking next item on the agenda, acceptance of the minutes from the previous meeting, Monday, November 24th. Be accepted as presented. Again, I'll take a motion for that as, oh, I can't quite see everybody.
Okay,
Sorry.
I'll make that motion. Councillor Hallmark.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor? Accepted.
I'm in favor.
Thank you. Thank you. Moving on to item number 5. Oh, hold on. That was regular minutes. Sorry, I need to have a motion for the organizational minutes from the previous meeting as well. Sorry, Monday, November 24th. So we've gone ahead and approved the regular meeting minutes. Needing a motion for the approval of the organizational minutes as well, please, and thank you.
I'll give you that.
Thank you, Director Estes. All in favor? Opposed? That motion's carried. Thank you. Moving on to accounts payable. Accounts payable dated December 15th, 2025 in the amount of $5,559.93. Looking for a motion for that, but I guess first of all, I'd ask if there's any questions to that, and then I would ask one of the directors to make a motion if we're okay and we have no questions going forward. Seeing no questions, then just if I could have a motion, please.
I'll make that motion.
Director Hallmark makes that motion. Thank you very much. All in favor?
Yep.
Motion is carried. Thank you. Moving on to the business section of the meeting and looking to CAO Reva Cambron for the lift station and pipeline update, please, and thank you.
So everything is running smoothly out there. And the only issue that we have right now is the Cargill wastewater meter is not operational. And so the volumes are based on basically last year's amounts for right now. So hopefully this will get cleared up here pretty quick. And I guess we have a pretty good idea how much water Cargill is using, and in the past the ratio of water to wastewater, and so we can come up with fairly good estimates if this takes a while to resolve.
Is there any?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Benita, please.
I just wondered what if there was a time frame that we're looking at on having this fixed.
I just became aware of it, so I'll have to contact Matthew with the town and find out. Maybe it's fixed by now, but I'll find out.
Okay. Thanks.
Same question I had, but are there any other questions, Director Hallmark? Anything in regard to that? No, thank you. Then thanks for the lift station pipeline update. Then we can just move on to the wastewater flow table, please, CEO Reva Cambron.
Yeah, as I mentioned, the Cargill flow is an estimate, so I just can't seem to get the paper open here. Well, so 1 month left in the year, and there doesn't seem to be anything unusual with where we're headed on a a total basis. For the year, 24 was 804 million imperial gallons, and I would say that looking at where we're at today at 727, we're going to be very close to that at the end of the year.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the directors? No questions? Thank you. Then we'll move on to the next item, and that's Director Hammond with the 2026 operating budget. Please and thank you.
Thank you. Just going to share my screen here. Can you see my screen okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So with Frank Lake operations, there isn't much of a change in expenses. The only thing that I reduced is based on past actuals or past trend is just the miscellaneous expense line there. This year was 49,000. We haven't spent anything close to that, so I reduced that to 30,000. But other than that, everything else is pretty much in line with this year's budget, 2025 budget. So revenue, so the pump in revenue is based on the expenses. So having reduced the expenses, the revenue will be decreased there as well. The other thing is interest income, like I mentioned in the landfills meeting, we're seeing lower bond rates, and that's why we are forecasting much lower interest income as compared to this year's. Overall, we've seen a net deficit of about 65,000, but then we add back the amortization, and we're looking at transferring about 63,000 into the reserve. I'll just touch base on the reserve here. The reserve balance as of December 31st, 2024, we are sitting about 682,000. We are planning to transfer about 72,000 into the reserve at the end of this year. And we are also focusing to transfer about 63,000 into the reserve for next year, which will bring us to a total balance of 818,000 for the end of next year. And with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions if there are any.
I just have a quick, easy question. What is the other income derived from?
Those like miscellaneous income, I can look into that and give you details of that.
Okay, just curious.
No other questions? I got one quick question on the legal side. Are we into a new contract fee for service there? You got a 21-ish% increase. I know everything goes up, but it was just one that jumped out at me, the audit and legal, or perhaps that comes from the audit side of it as well.
That's right, absolutely. That's from the audit side, not legal.
Okay. Pretty straightforward, and no questions in regards to that budget or in terms of reserves. Seeing none, I would ask for a motion to accept the 2026 operating budget as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Director Hallmark makes that motion. Thank you very much. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much. That takes us, sorry, just scrolling to my agenda. That takes us to, and thank you, Director Hammond, for that presentation. Appreciate it. Last item in the business section is roundtable discussion. Anybody have anything to bring forward from roundtable? Director Hallmark, please.
Yes. Okay, thank you. I just want to know, and I'm sure this was covered during orientation, but I was a little bit surprised. like I had never, I was surprised I was chair, so I was trying to drink from a fire hose last time. What is the reason or the rationale by Okotoks as part of this group?
I'm probably the only one who can answer that question, having been around so long. So originally, when it was decided to take effluent from Cargill and the town of High River out to Frank Lake, of course, at that time, Cargill needed a wastewater treatment plant and the pipeline, and there was quite a bit of provincial funding into that. But the municipalities, Okotoks invested $1 million, High River $1 million, and the county $1.5 million. So quite a bit of money back in '87. But then Cargill leased the facility from us, and we all eventually got our money back. The other motivating factor at that time was that school requisition came from the Foothills School Division, and the 3 municipalities paid, 99% of that. And so by having Cargill there, it would reduce our shares of or the amount we'd have to pay into the school requisition. It wasn't long later in the province decided that they would fund school requisitions, and then they requisitioned us directly, and we lost that benefit. So that's the original, and also there was, for Okotoks, the possibility that they wouldn't be allowed to put their effluent into the Sheep River anymore, and that it would also have to go out to Frank Lake. Now, of course, that's gone by the wayside, but that's really sort of the motivation behind Okotoks being part of Frank Lake. Is there any benefit to Okotoks being part of this part of the commission anymore? I guess that's a question for Okotoks to answer. It's unlikely that you would see any of Okotoks effluent going out to Frank Lake at any time in the future. And operationally, Okotoks does not provide any revenue regarding the cost of operating this system.
Okay, thank you. Is there risk to the town of Okotoks? I could probably send this in an email. Actually, I can send my next question in an email,
Yeah.
but okay, thank you.
I certainly can't think of any risk. If there was, say you had to twin the pipeline out to Frank Lake, then would there be a cost to Okotoks? No, because you're not using it, so costs are all borne, on the operational side. And so it would become mainly a Cargill cost at this time, and the town of High River, and a small amount by the county at this time, based on the volumes that go out there right now.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Good question. Very good question. Yeah, we'll leave that with you, Director Hallmark, and perhaps you and your council. We'll move to if there's not anything else under round table. Harry?
I have just one little heads up for, and I'll try to share my screen here. So every so often, the line out to Frank Lake, it starts to plug up. So the diameter of it from what you're shipping out there, and this applies to all water lines and effluent lines, they eventually lose some of their diameter. by crusting up, for lack of a better term. So the town of High River, the operators, they looked into, what it would cost in order to pig the line. So it's been done before, and it's quite a while ago. And this is the quote that has been received. The town thought they were going to pay for it, but no, it's a commission cost if this has to be done. Right now, the town is reviewing whether it's absolutely necessary and whether these extras that you see on the bottom are something that we'd be interested in. I can't say that I have any expertise in this area. Anyway, as you saw from the budget, there are reserves to cover the cost if this has to go forward. May not be this year, but it's going to be in the not too distant future. So I don't know if there's any questions on that.
I do. First of all, do you know when the last time it was done?
I would say 10 years ago.
Okay, and of course the big question is if it's not done, and what damage or what can happen if it isn't done sooner than later?
Well, you lose capacity in the system. So as the town and Cargill get closer and closer to the maximum capacity, and it's not the total. It can be the amount that they're producing on a per minute basis may be too high. So you have to make sure that you can handle peak flows as well as average daily flows and then annual flows. So, so the line is monitored to make sure that there's capacity there. You've got a little bit of extra room in the pipe for what we're sending out there.
For now, but as it crusts up, then you lose some of that diameter, right?
Yeah, and that's what the town is looking at. Is it something we need to do this year, or is it something we should be doing, next year, or not this year? I should say 26 or 27.
Okay. And when they pig the lines, will they be able? Are they able to see what the interior of them look like? There's no cracks or possible problems with them. Would that be determined at that time?
I would have to ask that question. Let's see here. Inspection activities. Yeah, so they might send a camera down the line when this is being done. There are inspection locations along the pipeline that are in the middle of, well, I shouldn't say in the middle, they're on the fence line in fields as you go out to Frank Lake.
Okay. So that's something that could be looked at to being done when this is done then? Yes.
Okay. I believe it's part of this, but I can confirm that with the town.
Right. Yeah, it's just been my experience. It's kind of nice to cover all the bases at the time instead of having something come forward later.
Yeah. I don't think we've ever. Sorry.
Sorry, is that a document you can share with us?
Sure. Yeah, I'll do that. It's a part of whatchamacallit, from an email from the town.
Sure.
So it's a report they received from a company, of course, just doing their due diligence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did they-
Yeah. There's been nothing formalized here. This is just a.
Yeah, it's just a heads up that
Service.
it could be something we'd have to bring back later this year, or sorry, this year's almost over. So early in 26, or it may be something that is held off until 27.
Are those 3 different quotes?
No, this is the basic quote, the 92,000, and then these are items that you could purchase, is my understanding.
Okay, so we only really have the one quote then.
Right, there's no other companies that have quoted on this. This is just for budget purposes right now.
Okay, but we could look at having other companies look at it?
Oh, definitely. That is something that we always try to seek out at least 3.
Okay.
3 if there are 3 companies available.
Okay. Nope. Okay. Thank you.
The last one is with respect to the I mentioned last time regarding the effluent treatment plant that the town and the county are taking a look at. There's really no update from the consultants at this point in time. I have not heard any more information from them.
All right. Well, thanks for that update. Any other items for roundtable? Yes, Dr. Hammond. You're on mute. Oh, there you go.
Okay. Just going back to budget, to Director Estes' question about that other income, that 7,500. So that's income that we get from Ultralink. It's there's a 5-year agreement that we have with Ultralink for some surfacing. They call it for some servicing rights, and that agreement was from 2024. So that they pay about $1,400 to the county, and then the county turns around and gives it back to Frank Lake. So it's just a small amount there, just for that agreement.
And what is it exactly for?
It's called the annual structure payment, and it's some Surfacing Right Act, and I don't know if Advisory Procurement has any information on that, but
yeah. So if I may, so Ultralink recently built a 500 kV line, and some of the pedestals for the towers are on Frank Lake property, and so they pay rent, and that's where that income comes from.
Okay, thank you.
Any last items in roundtable? Not seeing any. Our next scheduled meeting is January 26th, 2026, following the landfill operations meeting via Zoom. And that's our last item. So prior to calling for adjournment, I'll just wish everybody a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays, and be safe, and we'll see you all in the new year.
Yes, happy holidays, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Excellent. Well, we'll adjourn at 10:55. Take care, everyone.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.